Cheers.
Cheers!
Cheers!
Harry, are you a feminist? No, go away.
I think shoving a snout up the skirt confirms everything we need to know on that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thought I'd do something a bit different today.
Why are you giggling already? She's not even said anything. She wants to do something a little bit different
We're
today.
going to do something a bit different today, and instead of talking about what's in my handbag and crap like that, we thought we'd do something involving Prosecco and a topic known as internet dating. I thought I'd discuss it with these two lovely ladies here. We've got Laura, who is a blogger. Her blog is called Love by Laura. And we have Pippa, whose blog is Clashing Time, and it's also her YouTube channel name. So we're going to talk about internet dating.
Whilst drinking copious amounts.
I thought you were going to say
Prosecco.
whilst drinking cocaine of some form. I was like,
cocaine!
Not that kind of video, as far as I know.
What's your first experience of internet dating?
I was on Tinder to begin with. That was the first one. That was where I was introduced to it. But then I was just like, the ease. It's like a game. Just swipe, swipe, swipe.
See,
it's
I
just so
never
much
had
fun.
this. See, like, Tinder wasn't around when I started internet dating. There was this thing called OkCupid, which I don't know if it still exists.
I don't know.
I don't know. It makes me feel
Never
really
heard of
old.
it.
It wasn't like, I think Plenty of Fish was like the one that came around initially, and then I thought, no, I'm going to go off-piste. Try something a bit different because it felt a little bit like Facebooky, Plenty of Fish. So I thought I'd try that, and that's how I met my husband, and we've been together 6 years. So yeah, Tinder came around after that, which is all a bit bizarre.
I was the opposite to you, in that I didn't want to get back into the whole stress of having to go out and find dates the
Just going out full
way.
stop. I just didn't want to go out. I was like, no.
Pretty much. So I was in a relationship for 10 years and got out of it, and I was very much... And it's one of those things when you're in a relationship and you think, I'm going to be in this relationship forever, that Tinder came around and I started seeing everyone talking about it, and I was like, thank God I never have to do that. When I did become single, I did the knee-jerk thing of, oh God, I want to like get back out there, but I don't know how to do it. So Tinder was the easy way to do it. And it was like, none of the anxiety of having to go out every night and just sort of hang around at bars thinking, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. It's like, I can just go on Tinder and just swipe left and right. Unfortunately, I was so rubbish at it that I didn't understand what swiping left and right was, and I kept like, swiping the wrong way for like 2 days. Just wanted the easy route to being like, this didn't exist when I last dated. It's such a novelty for me to be able to get a date just by being sat at home watching Netflix.
Remember when you were younger and you used to play Sims?
Yeah.
And you'd get home from school and you'd be like, I want to play Sims all the time. That's what Tinder's like. And then you know full well that if you do Tinder in different locations, you're going to get a better quality of man. And then you're like, oh my God, this is addictive. And
Do you find it's quite a shallow app? Like,
I do think it is, but I think that it only takes you a certain amount of the way. So like, for example, a lot of the time I think it's naive to say that you're not attracted to people by their looks in some way or another. Whether that's like the most important thing, I don't know, but I think that it definitely is an element of the overall attraction. So the looks can only take you so far.
So in my experience of it, you'd put so much emphasis or like focus on a picture, and that was all you had to base what the person looked like. And then on the dates that I went on, I don't know if it was the same for you, but people could look completely different, or just their demeanour as well. If you want to go on a date with someone, like, get it over and done with. This sounds really unromantic, and this is the problem with Tinder. But it was like, when I first went onto it, it was like, I want to have conversations with a couple of people, and I was very much kind of in the guilt frame of mind of, I don't want to be talking to too many people, this is awful. And then having gone on a date or two on it, and realised that you can talk to someone for 3 weeks and think that you know them inside out and you know what they look like, and meeting them in person is completely different. I then changed and I was like, actually, it doesn't matter what their picture looks like, that's not giving you what they're actually going to be like in person.
I actually feel worse for men, because I think that women are much more cleverly deceiving in the way that they take pictures, in their, like, you know, if
We
you
know
think
our
about,
angles.
yeah, exactly. Like, if you think about old school MySpace photos, they're all from up here. That makes you look really good. Like, I've had a lot of guy friends who have been on Tinder dates and they've really got on with somebody and they're like, I feel awful because it sounds so shallow. But I met with them and they looked nothing like their picture. And I'm like, I know that is shallow, but I get where you're coming from. If you went out with someone and they were nothing like you imagined them to be based on 5 pictures, that's a lot of deception from day one.
Going back to MySpace, I used to pick up people through MySpace.
We're talking about internet dating
Back
through
in the
MySpace.
day.
Wow.
And Facebook, you know the little poke button?
What? You
That's
poked
worked.
away, did you? You poked away.
I poked someone before and got a whole conversation going.
I got
never
poked
met.
from 7 years ago that I never replied because I was so uncomfortable with the whole, I don't know how to interpret this.
What does a poke mean though? Does a poke
Exactly.
mean I want to poke you? Or does
Exactly,
a poke mean
Pippa.
poke, hey?
What does a poke mean? That's the whole problem with it. That's why it's 7 years later and I never
Well,
poked them back.
If you think about it, MSN existed a really long time ago,
MSN
and
chat.
I used to sit there for hours
Yahoo
on
chat.
Oh.
Yahoo chat. Well, even that, like, I used to sit on both for hours. If you think about it, the whole dynamic of that has basically evolved into Tinder. Like, if you like the look of someone, you match with them. And then all you're doing is having this like fantasy scenario on your phone until you decide, can I actually be bothered to meet with him, or is this just entertained me for a couple of evenings this week kind of thing. Like, I don't even think that's just Tinder, but I think, like, you know, Plenty of Fish, Match, or all of those things, they've all got that like chat thing to them now.
And you're going to build up a perception of somebody from their photos, from what they've put in their bio, but in reality they could be completely different. Like,
Oh my god, yeah.
bless him, Chris had put a picture of him with a surfboard. So I thought, oh my god, really cool surfer guy. Never seen him surf in the whole 6 years we've been together.
See, that's one of the things though, if you actually go on, because I went on a date with someone and he was saying to me, like, oh, there's guidelines for it, like if you put a picture of yourself, it was something like, it was either a surfboard or some kind of sporty thing, but he was saying like, oh, there's all these tips for what you should do to get more matches.
Oh my god.
And it was like, and I was going, really? Because all the surfers, I was like swiping the other way because I was going, there's no way you're getting me out surfing.
Every guy that posted a half naked or like a gym selfie, I was like, nope, I do not want a meal plan. Nope, I don't want a guy that doesn't want to go to burgers, like go out for burgers with me. Like, I do not want that sort of stuff.
Flipping it on its head in terms of the images that people post and stuff. My male friend who was on Tinder, and he was so annoyed that every female's picture was a Snapchat filtered picture.
I can appreciate that though, because it does, you know, enhance you, make you look better.
But the thing is,
It's not real though.
if you've
It's
got a halo
bullshit,
around your
yeah.
head,
And your eyes are popping out, or you've got like gold eyeshadow added to yourself.
yeah.
No
I
one
can't
looks
stand
like
that. I can't stand that. I mean, equally, I can't even stand that when somebody has their profile picture on Facebook with a Snapchat filter. I'm like, bloody hell, just take a picture of yourself normally.
He was like,
You know.
if it's a Snapchat filtered picture, or if in their bio they say, I'm a princess, then he would immediately reject them.
Well, see, mine was if they said, I'm looking for my partner in crime. I was like, oh,
Get out.
God, you're so tedious.
I used to put on there though, like, I was like, because when I went on to OkCupid, I was like, right, I'm not actually looking for anyone, like,
I don't think most people
actively.
are. Yeah. It's
so
entertainment.
I'm going to be like, right, I'm going to put that I like knitting and just see if that puts anyone off. But people, that was like a conversation starter. I'm like, oh no, stop talking to me.
You do like knitting.
I do like knitting, but I thought it would like deter men. Like, oh.
So you went on a dating app to deter men.
To deter arseholes, like, you know, like
Okay.
when you meet...
So knitting is the filter for
Yeah, I
arseholes.
thought that would be an anti-arsehole deterrent.
That's one way of
That
doing
sounds
it.
really wrong.
There are clearer ways to do that, Kat,
Yeah.
than I like knitting. To be fair.
Well, no, but I kind of get your point though, because if you had like the people that were really obsessed with like going clubbing and stuff, they're not going to be like, ooh, knitting.
It's not a sexy attribute, is it, knitting?
No.
Let's be honest. I thought, well, if I put that on there, and I get a date, then
I put
okay.
mine was completely truthful in my bio. Mine was like 3 lines long. It was literally like, love burgers, hate exercise, like theatre and shows and stuff like that. And then I can't remember what I put underneath, but I was like, you know, like, hate people that can't have a conversation or something like that. and then I put, because I put like 2 likes and 2 dislikes or something, anytime that I match with anyone and they're talking to me, they'd be like, oh, hope you don't think that I'm bad at conversation. And I was like, well, the fact that you said that means you probably are shit, aren't you? Like,
I think that's the problem with bios in general, though, is that first off, you agonise over what you're going to put to make yourself stand out, but also be realistic and like give them realistic expectations. But whatever you put, that is going to be the conversation starter. When I was on it, it was a case of I'd sit there and swipe, and then it'd say, oh, you've matched with someone, and I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'd just leave it. And for me, I mean, maybe it was laziness or the non-confidence, but I was like, I'll just see who gets in touch with me then.
on
like,
Tinder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, see, you're everything I hate about Tinder.
Sorry.
Yeah. There's actual massive things about the number of people that just use it as a game. Like, they just use it as like an ego boost.
Oh no, it wasn't.
No, I
it
know
wasn't
you're
a
not doing
game.
that.
It
but-
was just that I didn't want to make the first contact.
Yeah.
And then have to wait.
But that's
I
the
was like-
problem. That's the problem. There's so many people that have that same attitude that you just match with tons of people, and then you just end up having no conversations with people because no one's ever the first person to do it. So when I was on it, I would always be like, I would be the first person to send a GIF, like hands down.
Yeah.
Always
It's
send a
like,
GIF.
you could make it a no man's zone almost. Like,
Yeah. Seriously, that's so common. Like, people will match. Nobody will say anything. It'll be left, and then you'll be like 35 days later, and they've still got like tumbleweed like going across
See,
the
the
screen.
romantic in me is like how many relationships could have happened, but these perfect for each other people just never got in touch with
it was
each
just
other.
Yeah.
too stubborn.
Well, no, but I don't even think it's necessarily just stubbornness. It's like insecurity. Like that, if you think about it, you have one shot. One shot. You might have got so far as to match with them, but then what you say might go completely wrong. My housemates always took the piss out of me because they'd always call me like, they would always basically say that I gave people too many chances on those things. And I'm like, well, because you can't demonstrate your whole being through like a half-an-hour conversation on Tinder chat and then like one date. That's really, really hard. I always had a policy that you had to meet with them within a week and a half of first chatting, because oh my god, I had so many situations where when I first started out, I matched with people, chatted to them for like 3 weeks, literally 3 weeks, and met up with them, and they were nothing like how they came across.
So really, it's better to meet up earlier.
Get out of the
and
way.
then you actually get to gauge what they're like in real life
Yeah.
instead of building up this persona over a long period and then being like, you're nothing what I thought you were.
Yeah, well, we're also to blame. Like, if you think about it, if you see pictures of someone and that's not 100% what they are all the time, you make an image in your own head, which isn't actually fair on them because, you know, they've not had the chance to demonstrate who they really are. But if I chatted them for 3 weeks and then met up with them, I would, like, you know, hopeless romantic in me would be, like, slightly falling in love with them because they're saying all the right stuff, but I haven't actually sat next to them and had to realise how awkward they are, or like they've got smelly breath, or like BO, or like, you know, secretly a coke addict. Like, these are all things I've had, so...
Really? That one?
Yeah.
A secret coke addict.
Yeah.
That's the Prosecco.
God, seriously, I've
Oh
had
my God.
bad Tinder dates.
My dating is so boring.
I feel like we need to delve into this at some point to understand how you found out about the secret coke addict.
Cheers.
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 Okay, addicts might be a bit strong, but he dabbled. He dabbled, that's for sure. Mainly by the fact that he had a slightly white nose when he appeared to our date. Yeah, he turned up 45 minutes late. I looked like a lemon, and then he turned up and was like, "Do you want a drink, babe?" Obviously, that's the other thing. You can't work out what their voice is going to be like or anything like that when you're talking to people online. You don't really know like how they're going to turn out. He was like proper Cockney geezer. Like, nothing wrong with that, but it just wasn't what I was expecting, like, at all. And so I was quite, like, taken aback by it. And that's the problem. You put that image in your mind of how they're going to be. And then he turned up, was super, like, boozy, like, smelt of alcohol, had been out drinking with his clients that day. And then we got into this full-blown conversation, like, pretty much immediately about our previous relationships. And I was like, he was just really adamant.
So obviously you took this date very seriously.
Yeah,
You kind of got pissed beforehand.
doing that the whole way through his sentences, and I was like, are you okay? Like, do you need a tissue? Do you need to blow your nose or something? Like, I was blissfully unaware. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was high as a kite, like completely off his face. Was downing pints like you've never seen before, because clearly he was like thirsty or whatever. And then he basically said to me, this is hilarious, he was basically like, I know we've only spent like half an hour together, but I feel like you're marriage material. And I was like,
oh my god!
Okay, yeah. But then he goes, yeah, but I'm just not ready for marriage, so like, do you think maybe we could hook up in like 2 years' time? And I was like, sorry, what? What are you on about?
Oh my god!
Yeah. And then the worst thing was that we left and he went full in for a snog. And I was like, are you joking me? Like, that's my worst date by far. You went on a date with a gay guy?
Yeah.
How?
How did you both find out?
Well, he told me at the end of the date that he was confused about his sexuality. And he also told me that Katy Perry was his icon, so...
That's a big giveaway.
Yeah.
That and Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
This guy I knew of. And we went on a couple of dates, and he did try to sleep with me, but I got too drunk.
Okay.
You know, just fell asleep as you do. Passion killer. But then, yeah, everyone said, but isn't he gay? And I was like, no. And then it turned out he very much was gay and has a lovely partner now.
But what do you think you were? Like, do you think you were
I was his beard. I was the beard. It is a beard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was the beard.
Oh.
But
Because after that everyone was like, you turned him gay, cat. I was like, fuck you. I did feel pretty
used
shit about it.
yeah, but you didn't.
But it was quite amusing at the same
You
time.
didn't do anything.
No, nothing happened.
See, I remember at school, like, proper teen angst, sort of innocence type thing. There was a guy that I fancied at school with me, and then he asked me out, and I kind of got cold feet because I was such a geek. And I was just like, no, I can't deal with it, I can't deal with it. And I said no, and I was like, no. And I was like, inside, oh, but I really like you. And then so he asked out my friend and went out with her for about half a year, and then he turned gay.
Oh, so it wasn't you.
Oh, so
can't say-
you were saved
And
from
I
the
was-
shame of telling someone gay.
Yeah, and I was like, that could have been me.
It could have been you.
I mean, just point out, guys, it doesn't normally work that way. They're not just having such a bad encounter with someone and then they're
No,
like,
no.
oh, I'm gay all
I
of a
don't
sudden.
think either of us turned him gay. I think he was confused,
Yeah.
and the same sort of
At least he
weird
didn't
thing.
use
It's
you.
like he wanted the validation that he was straight and everything. But I was like, you know, when you just think there's something off about this type thing, and so I got all the kind of no, I don't like you in that way. And then I was like, oh.
What do you think was your worst online dating experience then? Do you not have any bad ones,
Well,
guys? Am I the only one?
I've only
No,
ever,
I've had bad
from
ones.
OkCupid, I never met Chris. So literally, we started chatting on a Monday. We met on the Wednesday.
You were married by the Friday.
Again on the
We were making
Friday.
love back.
Yeah, it was like a Craig David track. And then on Saturday we met up, and then it just kind of went from there. But apart from that, I just had like people messaging me. A lot of people from Cambridge. And one guy was like, I want to take you out for dinner. And he was like an older bloke, and I just ignored him. And then he's like, in big capital letters, hello, I said I would take you out for dinner. What do you want from me? And just like being really aggressive. I was like, blah.
That's so weird.
But I was that person on internet dating that's like, you're really sweet, so I'm going to keep talking to you because you're so nice, but I have no interest in you whatsoever.
Went on some dates with people, and it was very much that they were kind of like, I want to take you on a date straight away, I want to get you off the market type thing. It'd be like, ooh, I've like literally joined 2 days ago. And then if I didn't reply to messages from people within half a day, I'd be getting chased up.
Oh my god.
And people
Yeah, it's
could
very
get
different.
quite aggressive. Like, oh, so you don't want to speak to me then? And it was like, hold on, I've been at work, I've got a full-time job. And it was just sort of really weird for me. I really enjoyed all the dates that I went on. I didn't have like a really unpleasant date or anything. But I was just sat there and going, it's just nice to be out and talking to people. I mean, all of the dates that I went on were very casual. They were all dates during the day. I think I had one evening date, but we went to a place and had coffee. So
How do you make sure that when you go on dates and stuff that you're safe and like
Well,
nothing's
actually,
gonna happen
do you know what? In London, there's some really great things. So in London, there's a lot of bars where in the girls' toilets and the back of the toilet doors, it said if you go to the bar and you order this drink, X drink, then we'll know that you're feeling uncomfortable and that you're feeling
that's so good.
so good. Like more bars than you would think do that. And it basically says if you come here and you say that, we'll order you a cab straight away and you can just go out the back door or something like that. And like and it's really, really good. Like I found that quite often when I went on dates, the guy would pick where we were going, but I had an app on my phone. I can't remember what it was at the time. I think it was called Circle, maybe. And basically it linked my friends, Circle of 6, and it asked my friends. I just had to quickly go on the app and I could either get them to, so I'd send them my location, call them, send them a message, and it was all automated. I just had to press a couple of buttons and then it would tell them where I was. Also, before all of my dates, I sent my friends my location on Find a Friend and like, you know, made sure that they knew where I was. But then every single day, my housemates were amazing. Without fail, I would say, call me at 10. Call me, and then I'll say either, oh my god, really? You need me to leave? Oh my god, okay, I'll be there quickly as soon as possible. Or I'd be like, oh, thanks so much, yeah, don't worry, leave the light on, or something like that. And like, you know, give those two sides of messages.
See, I'm really bad in that when I met Chris, I don't think I've ever told you to this, but he came to my house
That shows how long ago it was.
and didn't tell anyone.
That's really bad. He could have been
So,
an axe murderer.
he could have been a psycho.
It's a
and
good
I
thing
just
we're in your
let him into
house
my
now,
house. Well, it was my mum's house. Stayed all evening. He could have killed me if he was a mentalist. He said he married me.
Yeah, don't recommend that.
Don't do that. Didn't
No.
tell anyone. It was really, really stupid. So don't ever do that.
No, always meet in a central location.
Or at least tell someone.
See, I don't know where you were at the time, but like, I was listening to everything you were saying and you were like, it's London, you know, there's all this cool apps and stuff that you've got and signs on the bars and stuff. So I live in the middle of nowhere.
So do I.
Yeah, so my closest city is Peterborough, but I don't live in Peterborough. So my like search radius is a bit different, I suppose, to London, in that people would be from like 20 miles away. And so the way I did it was just pick somewhere very central in Peterborough that I knew.
Yeah.
And it was a case of, no, I'll meet you there at this time. And it was somewhere I was very comfortable with. I knew how to get back to my car without like having to walk down any dark alleys or anything like that. But it was very much just, I'll meet you there.
Don't you find though, like, I found, okay, so 6 years ago, me and Chris were on a dating site and whatever, but like, even then it felt a bit taboo to do internet dating, whereas now it's kind of flipped on its head and it's like, that's the norm, and it's almost weird if you don't meet someone through internet dating. It's
No, I have a mix of friends. I have a lot of people who met their partners now at uni, so like they've just stayed together for a really long time. I have a lot of friends who have met kind of organically, so to speak, like they've met through friends of friends, or they've met through like going out, or they've done stuff like that. But I do have a high percentage of people who have met through online dating, and I actually think that's a great thing because it's kind of got rid of that taboo to a certain extent.
It's like a stigma, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I had that stigma. I totally thought before I was on it, I was like, I don't need to be on this.
I'm not a
going on it.
savak.
Yeah, I don't need to do it.
Sits behind a computer and
Yeah. But then my friend was like, don't be so ridiculous. How the hell do you think you're going to meet anyone anymore?
not a top up.
Always.
Always.
I mean, that's the thing for me. I mean, I'm quite a shy person, and so it sounds really bad. The way I've met people before is being drunk in a club.
Yeah, and I don't like going to clubs anymore.
But that was over 10 years ago that I used to do that, and it's just not right for me now. So I actually fully advocate the whole online dating thing. I don't think there's anything uncool about it.
I don't. What would you say are the massive positives of online dating?
Time.
Yeah.
Like, it cuts out an awful lot of time of the whole, I don't know, do I do anything?
Mm-hmm.
At least if you go on an app as well, you know that people on there are looking, hopefully, for the same or similar things to what you are. They're looking for something.
Not always, but you can normally whittle down the people quite quickly from talking to them online, whether
They're
they're looking for a hookup.
a relationship or something.
A hookup.
From someone they fancy.
I don't know one person that's not been on a first date and has not been like, yeah, there was a bit of awkwardness, because you're just like
I was
nervous.
about to shoot my hand up, but actually there was awkwardness online, so yeah.
Yeah, like there's always going to be awkwardness on a first date. Second date is where you feel a little bit more confident and you're like, okay, I know all the basics, we've gone through all of that, we can actually have a bit more of a normal conversation. If the second date is still shit, that's not going anywhere.
Run away!
Yeah, literally. Like, you know, and you actually have a little bit more validation in sort of saying, like, I gave it a shot, but I'm just not really feeling this, you know.
I don't know, I think I'm more black and white than that. I'm like, first date.
But you can't tell
you're not
them.
feeling it.
But you can't tell them. What did you do? Just ghost them?
No.
What did you do?
It's not you, it's me.
It was pretty much that I used the line. Sounds really bad, but like this is all very new to me, and I've realised I'm not ready for it. And it was more that I was just not ready for them.
Oh no!
But I wanted to do it in a nice way, and I didn't know how else to do it than like, I'm not attracted to you, but best for your future endeavours. This is going to give you a confidence boost, isn't it?
I literally had a guy friend.
I
who
wish
was
you
so
every
funny.
success in life.
Yeah.
my guy friend used to give feedback like you would do on a job interview.
So give like star ratings.
No, but like, oh my god, no. He would
2
be
stars.
He'd be like, I had a really nice night tonight, thanks so much for coming to meet me. I really don't feel like there was much of a dynamic or like, you know, much of like chemistry there, but I had a really good time and thank you so much. You know, and they'd be like, oh, that's a shame, oh, I really thought we got on well or whatever, and then he'd be like, yeah, well, the thing is,
No,
no, don't go into more detail.
But then he said that he actually had quite a few girls coming back to him and being like, thanks for the feedback. Like, I'm going to take that on, and the future dates that I go on are not going to be like that. So, for example,
does feel like a performance review.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's so fast. I actually don't think that's so horrendous. Like,
I suppose it depends what they're saying.
He had girls that he was going on dates with where they were talking about their past relationships, and he was like, first date territory. Unless someone asks, don't talk about your ex-boyfriends.
Yeah.
Like, don't talk about how your previous boyfriend broke your heart and, you know, you had a cat together and like all of this stuff. Like, I don't give a shit about that kind of thing.
But
like,
the cat is important. I go back to the stigma thing. When people ask me now, like, how did you and your husband meet? I still feel not shame, but like a little bit cringy. Like, we met on the internet.
I know a lot of people that do
really
that.
cringy.
I think if somebody was to ask you now and it was a brand new person and you said I met them through online dating, I think they'd be like, yeah, credit to you. Because I actually think it takes a lot of courage. I think it takes a lot of courage to be online. If you said we met on a dating website, then I don't think anyone now would be like, ugh. I think, like, when I've said to people in the past, when I've had previous boyfriends through Tinder, and people have been like, oh, how did you meet? And I say Tinder, they're like, oh yeah, I met my boyfriend through Tinder. Or they'll say, oh, my best friend met her boyfriend through Tinder or whatever. Like, maybe I should try it, kind of thing. And then you get into this whole conversation about if they're single, about how they met them. Or more to the point, you get into a conversation with somebody who has a partner who didn't meet through Tinder, and they're like, oh, Tinder didn't exist when I was around. Like, oh, I kind of wish I'd like had the chance to try it. It's actually a very positive message now in comparison to what I think you think it would be like.
I'm just a bit old school, I think. I'm just old in my dating ways.
Yeah, but if you
But
say
you're not old school because you met through a dating app.
Well,
so
yeah.
you were just forward thinking.
revolutionary.
I was one of the forward thinkers before
Yeah.
it became cool.
You're basically the positive story about dating on the internet.
If anything, OkCupid should have sponsored your wedding.
Wow, they have a list of people that have matched and like lived happily ever after. And we were going to write in, and then we realised there was loads. So we were like, nah.
I think that it's amazing how many weddings Tinder has paid for. Tinder's paid for loads.
Tinder pays for weddings.
Sometimes, yeah.
So we're going to finish this little chat.
Long
on our-
chat.
I say little, but long chat on how our experiences have been. Pippa, you can start.
I've had quite a few boyfriends through Tinder, and I don't regret it at all. Not one bit.
I have had one very long relationship through the internet. We're subsequently married, and I can't really complain, so it's obviously worked out for me. It's called OkCupid. I'll link it down below because I don't know if it even exists anymore, but you might be interested.
And I gave up. So I actually was on the dating website. It gave me quite a lot of confidence, but I had a friend who I met and
Fell in love with.
And whilst I was on Tinder, fell in love with him, so came off of Tinder basically. But I think it was a positive experience for me because it taught me a lot about dating and relationships and gave me that confidence to go forward.
Cheers.
Cheers to my empty glass! Woohoo! We've done a lot of talking. Thank you for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video.
Bye.